Well, hello again everyone. I've actually managed to get out and do an hour or so's work on this today, and hopefully things will be back to normal here before too long anyway. But I just thought I'd put the finishing touches to this one. I think this is the last bike that I rode on video actually a few days ago. The one I raised the carburettor needle in to get it running just how I wanted it to. And when we arrived back, it was a bit funny because I noticed that an indicator was hanging off. This one was just swinging and dangling around, and I thought I'd talk about that and what I've done to sort it out. Now this might be of some value and interest to owners before such a thing happens, because the way the indicators are attached is a little bit, shall we say, inadequate. But let's have a look and see how much of this the camera will pick up. We've got basically a right angled bracket there that has a hole through it which the indicator fastens to and through, and that right angled bracket, although it's substantial enough itself, is actually made of much thicker material than the steel that the number plate is made of. It's spot welded to the number plate, and it might be possible just to see there's 4 indentations there, and they are the indentations of the spot welds. Now they tend to fracture relatively easily. Doesn't take much vibration or stress, and they let go, and then the next thing is you've got an indicator swinging around, and that's what happened in the case of this one. And in fact the right angled bracket came away from the number plate and actually pulled out a chunk of the number plate material as well, so there was a sort of odd shaped hole in the number plate there. So what I decided I would do is I would drill a hole through the right angled bracket so that I could use a nut and a bolt and some suitable washers to fasten it back in place, and that's what I've done. But I had to also use the grinder and grind that little bit of a chunk of number plate that came away with it that was still partially spot welded to it, to give myself a clean flat surface to work with and drill through. But I drilled a little hole just big enough to get an M6 bolt through, and as you can see it has to be quite short, and I used what's known as a repair washer on this side, which covers the hole that got torn in the number plate when that bit of metal got ripped away with the indicator and the right angled bracket. So there's quite a large washer there with a small hole through it. That's known as a repair washer. I've obviously put the nut and a bolt through it and painted them black afterwards, and really it's quite a good, fairly discreet sort of fix. And that's the other end of it there. You can just see I've got a little nylock nut on it. Obviously, if possible, you want a locking nut rather than a non-locking one, because otherwise it could possibly work loose. But I would say that's probably even stronger now than it might have been originally. But it just occurred to me that actually, as this can and does happen, I'm sure more than occasionally, because I've seen more than another one with an indicator hanging off and a hole in the number plate there, that actually prevention is better than cure. And while this one I had to disconnect the wiring and everything, get the indicator off so that I could put it in the pillar drill and drill a hole through that right angled bracket, while it's in position, the other one could just be drilled right through there right now even, and a similar nut and bolt and washer put through, and that would act as a preventer, and it probably wouldn't even break off then. So that is something that I'm going to consider doing with this one, possibly, or the owner can think of doing it himself at some time, or any other owners that want to sort of try and make sure their indicators don't fall off. It would be much easier to do it while the indicator is still held in situ by those rather fragile spot welds. Just drill straight through where the 4 of them are, find a point in the middle so it would look like a number 5 on a dice, drill through it, and then get a suitable bolt, nut and a couple of washers, a repair washer on this side obviously, and that'll do the job. But this is fixed now, and this bike is ready to go home, but I just thought I'd share that with a few people in case it's of any use to anyone that might want to get their indicators either back on their Bullet again or just make them extra secure. Thanks for watching.